Hi guys, welcome back. Stage 4 of Shimano Find Your Fast. This one's on Jurassic Coast and I'm in the 390 to 510 category. You'll probably notice that I'm not on screen, so I did try to record this race, but for whatever reason when I checked my camera afterwards it hadn't recorded, so you're just going to see the screen and my wonderful voiceovers. So I wasn't really expecting much from this tonight, because I raced pretty hard last night, and I think I pretty much used all my effort to get over the last climb to try and stay with the lead pack, so I was pretty burnt out going into this. So the climb comes relatively early. I think we go over Titans, Grove, Reverse, KOM, and I don't think any of the ramps go above 5%, so I've kind of opted for the Canyon Air Road with the DT Swiss disc wheel for this, since the second half of the race is relatively rolling and flat. So I want something that's pretty fast that I can use for the hopeful sprint finish at the end. And that's us away. So looking at 33 riders in this, so still a decent size group. I know some of the groups earlier today were in the 90s, but that's probably mainly down to the fact that stage 4's only been live since yesterday, so some people like to just get over and done with at the beginning of the week. I know some other big series are starting, like on Wednesday the Dirt Series starts, which I'm part of. So I know some people will probably want to get this out the way because they've got a bigger race tomorrow. So I was actually pleased when this started off that it didn't go hell for leather from the beginning, with the climbs, the two climbs being in the first quarter of the race. I suspected that some people maybe were waiting until the climb to maybe try and break there. I did suspect there was a couple of different tactics that could be used in this race, and that would be break the climb to get over the top in a decent group and then push on from there, or just try and suffer over the climb and stay with the group so that it ends in a bunch sprint. I think some breakaway riders would like to get away at the bottom of the climb, but we'll see what happens. So at the bottom of the climbs, you've got these kind of rollers that just go up and down, and I just try to use the downhill to take the momentum over the small inclines. You see there, just went at 3.6% and then back down a little bit. If they're yellow, they're not particularly steep. They start getting steeper when they hit the orange, but if you look at some of the orange ones coming up, there's quite a few downhills beforehand, so you can almost use momentum and not have to bother pedalling up them. So we're now at the base of the first climb, and everyone's still pretty close together. As you can see, there's a lot of yellow and orange, so nothing too steep. I don't think it went to 7% there in the very small ramp, but I think the average is kind of like 4 or 5% for the whole thing. So no one seems to be going crazy either and hitting any kind of orange numbers to want to string out the pack. So it's just about kind of maintaining this. And one thing that I was really disappointed with was that there was no banners to go under beforehand, because I could have really done with a feather tonight. But there was no, unlucky for me, there was none dished out at the bottom of the 2 climbs. I think the fact that there's only 2 climbs in the thing, you think it might put something like a feather at the bottom that could maybe break the race a little bit more. I see that Adrian's just commented. He's someone I've met in the Ryan Condon community in the Discord channel. He raced this earlier. It was 90 riders in his race, and he done really well in it. I know earlier on in the day and the week, like I said earlier, the race sizes are pretty big in these community races. So he's kind of egging me on and giving me a bit of encouragement throughout this, which was good. It was really good to see, even though I was in no position to reply to him, so I can only apologise for that. So we've just about crested the first climb, and no one's kind of pushed on, everyone's stayed together. So a little bit worrying, is this a really, really strong group? Or is it just that the pace isn't particularly electric over the top of this? So I think I mentioned this before in some other videos, but we're going downhill now, and I know a lot of people say just get off the pedals and stop pedaling, but I don't like going from zero to hero. So if we do kick up, I like my legs to be at least spinning a little bit and keeping moving, so that I can just kind of get straight up and get straight back on the climb if needs be. But I'm not really pushing much through the pedals, and just keeping them moving as best I can over these couple of rollers before we start the Titan Grove reverse KOM. So we're pushing onto the climb now, and it does start to string out a little bit, but like I said, I think it averages at about 4.3% for 900 metres, it just says there on the screen. So just trying to maintain the front group, because it's not particularly long, and there's quite a long downhill afterwards to recover. Getting a bit more advice there from Adrian, just make sure I stay with the front group and don't overdo it. Maybe a little bit of reference to yesterday's race. Please go back and watch it, because you can watch me suffer, but I really did. My heart rate was in the 190s for majority of the race, so getting over those 2 climbs was not enjoyable, but I was there at the end, which is kind of a bit of a bonus. Yeah, I can see the field's getting strung out, but there's not much of a climb left, so no one's really pushing on too much to cause any kind of gaps. There's only maybe a 1 second gap to that rider just off the front, but with the long downhill, it doesn't seem like they're putting too much of an effort in to get over the top of this. And as we kind of crest the hill, so my heart rate's sat at like threshold now, so 185 is kind of my threshold. So I'm sat at threshold, and the first thing I kind of realise is I've just set a PR going up that climb. So 150, I think my time before was 2 minutes. So maybe it wasn't slow. But now I'm completely in recovery mode. So yes, I'm still spinning the legs very, very slowly, but I'm just taking deep breaths, trying to get the heart rate down. No one's going to try and break away. I think those that have just used their power-ups, because I just got the aero power-up, those that have used their power-ups have absolutely wasted it, because we've got quite a lot of like rolling countryside to go through now. The downhill's not the place to use something like that. If there's any breaks later on, you could utilise that to help yourself get back on. So in my eyes, bit of a waste. I would use it probably just before we go through the next gate near the end of the race. There you go, getting a pep talk off Adrian again. Nice recovery. So yeah, you can see my heart rate's come down. It's come down 20 beats already, but I do want it to be a little bit lower than that. I'm trying to keep my average watts down. I do get told off quite a bit for having quite high average watts. But what I am doing is, and this is a bugbear for few people, is I'm staying relatively close to the front, because this next part is fast, it's rolling, and this is where I suspect if there's any kind of strong riders that are not particularly good climbers but managed to get over there, this is where the breaks in my eyes could happen, because people have just suffered to get over the climb and they're trying to recover, and this would be the time, if I was going to attack anywhere, just up this next incline would be the time to go for me. But let's see. So now I just hit this incline after the Titans Grove KOM, or reverse KOM, and it's kind of 3.5% going up it. But again, no one's pushing on. Don't know if people are struggling after the last climb, but it seems relatively tame, and the pace is decent, but it's not stringing us out, and it only seems like maybe one or two are off the back of the whole group. So the 30-ish riders are kind of stayed together. So I am now just kind of sitting at the back as much as I can, just trying to sit in the draft. I don't think it looks like it's going to break up anytime soon, so I'm just trying to conserve energy and then watch for any moves that go off the front and try and close them down as soon as possible. So the pace now on this kind of rolling flat has it's gone slightly above 50k an hour and then just dipped again. So definitely pushing on a bit now compared to previously. So it's not as relaxed as before, but you can see for the rest of we're halfway through the race now, and half the rest of the parkour is kind of just rolling roads, no major climbs or anything like that. And again, you'll see I've saved my aero. Don't see any point in using it just yet. I'm relatively comfortable. I've got a really low cadence, you'll notice, below 70. I'm just spinning my legs and trying to stay within the draft and not use any energy. It's so much easier to stay with the group. So if you ever get dropped off the back, then you've got to really work hard to get on. But believe it or not, I'm getting dragged along at 40k an hour with quite minimal effort. So as we move into the kind of latter stages of the race now, someone goes off the front, trying to use this rolling section to get away. I don't panic at this stage, just kind of stay in the group and wait, first of all, just to see if anyone's going to try and bridge the gap and see if anyone's going to just drag us to them. And it looks like the group's just kind of upping the pace and slowly catching. It's really difficult for a lone rider to get away, and you'll see someone there sprinting, trying to get on to the back of him, but all it's done is, because he sprinted for a very short space of time and then sat back up again, it's let a few people kind of bridge to them, and we've all kind of, without putting any effort in, the gap's been bridged. We are a little bit spread out, but we're just hitting a 3% climb now, and it seems like everyone sits up, and hopefully we come back together pretty quickly at the top of this little incline. So okay, Adrian, so no one's getting dropped and it looks like everyone's can hold this pace. So that's the worry, is everyone holding this pace? Have we got a group of sprinters? Is everyone just wanting to wait until the last couple of Ks for it to ramp up and go crazy? Or is everyone just on the limit? It's what you don't know. You don't know how everyone else feels. So it's one of those that just ride within yourself, and I feel relatively comfortable at the minute. I am using the Zwift Play controllers to my advantage and just weaving across the road. And you'll see now that the pace has kind of ramped up to above 50k an hour as we go through the last archway. So I'll pop my power up just before we go through, and as you see, someone sprints off the front. Instantly, some people have popped the power ups as well, like I did, to get the aero boost, and then was straight into another little incline. But that initial attack by someone kind of didn't pay off. So at this stage, I just decided to push on a little bit and just see if anyone followed me, and just pushed up this climb. It's not a particularly steep climb, but just thought I'd push up it and just see if it put anyone else in the hurt locker. And I look behind me and it's not really gapping anyone, so there's no point in kind of burning any matches just yet. And once I get to the top of the climb, I just kind of sit up and then just get back into the pack to start recovering again. I've still got 4k to kind of get a bit of recovery in before the final run-in. So because we're approaching the last couple of Ks, just make sure that I'm near the front in case anyone decides to brake and anyone decides to jump, because that's the kind of most dangerous move at this stage. If everyone's on the limit and someone makes a move, then there's no one left to follow. So with 2Ks to go, this did make me laugh. This guy saying nobody, because I think he was hoping someone was going to try and break away. And at that moment, as soon as he said that, I did think that this was the opportunity for someone to maybe make the jump and get a group together. And I seen this guy coming through, and I thought, you know what? Here's the move. This is the move. Someone else seen it as well, and we followed. And while he's not gapping too much, to make sure I sit on the wheel of this second person. Yeah, both of them have popped their power ups, but I want mine saved for a little bit later on. So while I've still got the legs to be able to get onto the back of them, then I just kind of wanted to save that for as much as I could. And straight away we got a 1 second gap, which actually with 1.3k to go, that can be significant. It's relatively flat on the run in, so it's going to be hard to bridge that. So Adrian's giving me some updates. The gap's getting bigger, so we're up to 3 seconds now, and this is kind of exactly where I want to be. I want to be sat behind these two, letting them do the work without that gap getting closed down behind us. But you can see that they're starting to put out 4 watts per kilo. They're at 2 seconds now, so they've already clawed a second back, and then they're down to 1 second. So I will push to the front a little bit and put a few watts down just to try and make sure that that gap gets maintained. I do try to ride away, because those two have been riding on the front for a while, so have they got enough to follow me? But I'm not going into the red. I'm trying to save for as much as I can. As soon as they come up and go past me, I set up. And like on previous races, I am waiting for between 200 to 400 metres to start my sprint, but I've hit my aero boost now, and now I'm just waiting for the sprint. So I'm now at 300 metres, so this is me now starting to ramp it up. And I'm going to try and go around them. Can't stop, addicted to the shit. And a really unsuspecting win. So I was really happy with that. You can say 3.2 watts per kilo average throughout the whole thing, so relatively low wattage for me. You say second place was working really hard there, 4.1 watts per kilo. I did see on Strava that I did get a best 1 minute power, so it wasn't particularly easy all the way through then. And I also PR'd pretty much all of the climbs, so for while most of the race felt comfortable, I quite clearly put the effort in where I needed to put it in. Well, if you've enjoyed watching this, please drop a like, a comment on the video, and more importantly, please subscribe, because I'm at 44 subscribers at the moment, and I'm trying to get to 50 by the end of the month, so only a few days left. I didn't think anyone would watch any of these videos, never mind 44 people, so I'm completely grateful with that, but I would love to get to 50. I'll be racing tomorrow night on the dirt racing series with the Galaxy Cycling Club, Galaxy Cycling team, so hopefully I'll record that and I might upload that one tomorrow, although the course doesn't suit my type of riding. Well, thanks for watching.